First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, and the ourselves bring millstone, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say Shalom, and come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the title of the lesson is Wartime News. So I like to say Shalom to all that listen and learn. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by Newsweek. It said video shows Chinese troops join military drills on NATO's doorsteps. Let's get a little bit more. It says here that China and Belarus kick-started joint military training drills miles from the Polish border. A video released by the Belarusian Defense Ministry on Monday showed says soldiers from China People Liberation Army joined Belarusian troops for what has been described as anti-terrorist training set to run Monday through July the 19th. So that's all we'll get on this news order. I have video to bring it out with more edification. So we're seeing right here that things are constantly picking up over there in Europe, also in the Middle East, also between Russia and Ukraine. So we're seeing right now that China right now, this is first time I ever heard of this, that they're doing military drills in Europe. You know what I'm saying? In NATO's back. In a backyard. So just like in America, so we're seeing that the heathens are raging right now. We're seeing that a war is constantly brewing. We're seeing that the Lord is constantly putting the pieces together. He's gathering the nation. We're seeing that this war is going to be on all fronts. It's going to be a war to end all wars. We're seeing right now it's constantly getting larger and larger. What are they constantly doing military drill for? What are they preparing for? And one thing about it, we already knowing that, that World War III has begun. And one thing about it, we already seeing that these nations are constantly getting in position. They're constantly, are constantly coming into alliance with one another. Also, we know that Russia is becoming a guard to these other nations. The Lord is putting the hooks in Russia's jaw. So we seeing all these things are constantly lining up. And also it said that China is building military bases in Cuba. So those things are going on. So China's is right 90 miles from Florida. So we're seeing how close that we're getting to this all-out war. Also that we're seeing that all hell is getting ready to break loose. We are very close. So we just right here, video shows Chinese troops joint military drills on NATO's doorstep. So they're right now in Belarus from I think it started July the 8th, which in fact was Monday, through the 19th. So what are they preparing for? So we already knowing that all these alliances are coming together. We already knowing about it's already was rumors that China will invade Taiwan. So we already knowing that America right now have their self spread it so thin that one thing about it, that's why they calling this military draft. So because they already know that they're going to war. War has begun. So we seeing right now that Russia is constantly putting the pieces together. Seeing it with Cuba, with China, with Venezuela, Mexico, a lot of these things come. Belarus. So Belarus will be a missile launching pad to hit Europe, so we're seeing these things are constantly lining up, and also we're seeing that election that I think was Macron. He was he didn't win the election, so now all type of riots has broken out in Paris. I did a lesson on it last night, so we're seeing that these things are constantly picking up left and right, and also it was rumors that China was building a spy facility in Cuba, what you call a electronic eavesdropping device, where they can hear all sorts of conversation and do all sorts of surveillance on America, Babylon the Great. So we seeing right now the heathens are raging, man. We seeing it left and right. So let's go get this other little news clipping I got. Just a few little clippings I got. One thing about it, the Lord said, warn them for me. We're not going to read this order. I'm just going to read the title. It says here, it said China building a new spy base in Cuba. So here's what a new report found. So we're seeing right here showing this base that they're building right in Cuba, right in our backyard. So we're seeing right now that things are constantly picking up. We're seeing that, that America right now, we're seeing that, all these nations are getting ready to turn against America, Babylon, the great Esau, Edom, the devil that the Bible speaks, because you have spoiled many nations. These nations are getting ready to spoil Babylon the Great. There will be no inhabitant left here. We're constantly warning you left and right. So this was July the 2nd. So we're seeing right here, it said Cuba is building a new spy base near the city of Santoga de Cuba that will be capable of tracking U.S. air and maritime military movement thousands of miles away, according to a new report from a Washington research organization. So we're seeing right now, they are putting these pieces together. We're seeing that these warships are over in Cuba. We're seeing that warships and submarines are in the Pacific over there on the West Coast. And also we seeing in Venezuela, Russia got warships down there. So America is pretty much surrounded, that great multitude. So, all hell can break loose when the enemy come in like a flood. The Lord is going to lift up a standard. So we seeing right here that, they are building what you call a electronic eavesdropping base. You know what I'm saying? That, that will have capability to eavesdrop on a U.S. Intelligence. So we seeing that we're very close. Let's see if I could pull up one more little clip about this eavesdropping. Let's see if I have it. See it right here. I think I got it right here. I think this came out last year. I think they built a base back in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But this is an old clip, but it was for edification. So they building it as we speak. It says here, Daily Mail News. It said China is in a advanced talks to build new military training facility in Cuba, triggering alarms. Among White House officials at prospects of Thai troops stationed just hundreds of miles off of Florida. So we seeing right here, that it's saying that they're building these military bases, and also it's saying they building what you call a eavesdropping base that can spy on America. We seeing it right here, man. Let me see if I can get a little bit more on it. If not, I got a video to bring it out with a little bit. I don't want to bring out too much information because you know how TikTok is. They'll shut you down if you give out too much information. But we read this little part right here. It said this right here at the end. It said it follows. Say U.S. Allegations that China says running electronic spy bases on Cuba. So so we see it right there. It says it is in an attempt to eavesdrop on sensitive military communication. So that's all we're gonna get out of that. We don't want to go too far with all this information, but you can easily look it up. Find it. All this stuff is common knowledge now. Wisdom and knowledge will increase. So we're seeing that these things are constantly picking up. We're seeing that the war drums are beating. We're seeing that World War III has begun. We're seeing that the war drums are beating. Rumors of wars are all over the place. And one thing about it, it's time to seek the Lord, because one thing about it, we are running out of time. We're seeing that these things are happening on all fronts, right here in America, Cuba, Venezuela, over here in Belarus, they're in NATO's backyard. So we already know it. And also they're going to be in collaboration with Russia. So we already know what's getting ready to happen. All these nations are getting ready to get together and come against the great whore that sits on many water, America, Babylon the Great. This place is getting ready to be totally destroyed. So we're seeing that the Lord is constantly putting the chess pieces together. So now let's get a quick precept before we start today's video. Let's go here. It says Psalm chapter 27 and verse 3. It said, though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise against me, in this will I be confident. So we're seeing right now a lot of a great multitude of nations are constantly getting closer and closer, getting in strategic military locations. You know what I'm saying? Near America. So we seeing all these things that happen. We seeing right now. Should it says here that though war should rise against me. So we seeing what war is constantly rising up. We seeing that what is constantly intensify. We knowing that what is getting ready to break out. We seeing that right now. All things are ready. The stage is set. So we already knowing that. They can, when they say peace and safety, then total destruction will come upon us. So let's read this once again. Psalm chapter 27 and verse 3 said, though an host should encamp against me, that great multitude said, my heart shall not fear, though war should rise against me. We seeing it on seeing it all around us, left and right. It said, in this will I be confident. I want to think about the men of the Lord, the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh, also that great multitude, that the Lord is going to come to deliver. We have confidence that the Lord will deliver us in these times of trouble. So now, let's start today's video. Then after the video, we will start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
China is planning to set up a new joint military training facility in Cuba, which is only 100 miles away from Florida's coast. This means that China could be sending troops right to our doorstep and also spy on our military installations in the southeastern U.S. But why is China doing this? Well, according to some intelligence officials, this is a likely response to the USA's involvement in Taiwan, which is a self-governing island that China claims as its own territory. Taiwan is also about 100 miles away from China, so you can see the parallel here. China has been increasing its military pressure on Taiwan, and the U.S. has been supporting Taiwan's defense and security. This has led to a lot of tension and confrontation between the two superpowers.
China sends a contingent of troops to Belarus for joint exercises at that same time, as 115,000 NATO-backed Ukrainian soldiers deployed to the Belarus.
In southern Florida, check this out. Southern Port of Florida, we put it in red. I want to introduce you to your new neighbor, and it is China, because China is in Cuba, because they are planning a new joint military training facility. This is a new revelation to us, but not to our intelligence community and not to the military. They're planning to expand their relationship with Cuba, an impoverished nation run by horrible communist people, but are in desperate needs of billions of Chinese dollars. Here's how close they actually are to us. Are you comfortable 90 miles from Miami? Now, it's not just tourists and residents of Florida that should be concerned. What about our own military bases? We have a military base at the furthest south period. This is where you find Hemingway's house. This is where Truman used to vacation. A major facility down there. And then you have the Homestead Air Base. They'll be listening in, and they'll also be susceptible possibly to a Chinese-Cuban attack. We wouldn't have put up with this in the 60s. In fact, JFK didn't. Why are we putting up with it now? Let's bring in General Jack Keane to analyze where we're at with China. And a little bit later, General, I'd like to talk to you about what's happening with the counterstrikes in Ukraine. But first things first, your take on four bases now being built by China in Cuba.
Yeah, well, those are listening bases is what we're led to believe. They were put in there, one of them was put in there in 2019, and that's the year that they began to morph them into 4 additional bases. And they're designed to monitor transmissions, telephone communications, radio communications. They're very sophisticated, even satellite or internet communications. Now look at Brian, we've got a Navy base right there in Cuba. And we have potential to thwart this capability. And obviously we can sit off the shore of Cuba and international borders, and also we have potential to thwart the capability. In terms of putting a training facility in there, I think, and bring some Chinese troops there, I believe they're poking us in the eye over Taiwan. I mean, obviously we're helping Taiwan, we're arming them, and we got troops in Taiwan, but there's no moral equivalency here for viewers to understand. China is threatening to take over by force a democratic free nation, which Taiwan is, if it doesn't voluntarily submit to China control. We are not threatening to take over Cuba. We have tolerated a communist regime there for decades. We appropriately cut off aid and support to Cuba for years. Why was that? Because they were supporting a Soviet base there for decades, right on their territory. And I think the rapprochement that we're doing with Cuba, we should cut off and make them pay a price for the fact that they're going to house Chinese capability on their territory, knowing full well that China is the number one threat the United States is facing.
General, think about
This is today, folks. Chinese military in Belarus for joint anti-terrorist training near Poland and Ukraine. Oh my, dog.
Chinese troops in Europe, folks.
Why isn't this on every major newspaper in the world today? PLA troops are in Europe next to Poland and Ukraine. Folks, this is World War III. This is what a world war looks like. Do you understand how big of a movement this is? From last week, there were no Chinese troops in Europe. Today, there are Chinese troops on the border of Poland and Ukraine. And NATO is meeting this week. I assure you, Doc, NATO leaders are talking about PLA troops in Europe and saying, are we going to have to fight China in this war?
And are you
And the
ready for
answer is,
that?
yes, you are. You're taking the world into a dark hole. Stop it. Get your senses. Settle this war and get out of it while we're all alive. It's getting worse by the week. This is Chinese troops in Belarus today. Again, this should be a headline everywhere in the world. PLA troops on European soil. I don't know if it's ever happened before, Doc. I don't recall ever reporting about Chinese troops on European soil.
It's just incredible. Chinese troops in Europe, folks. This is happening in Belarus today. So the only reason why armies drill is to prepare to shoot somebody or kill somebody. That's the only reason they drill.
But you're seeing this on True News. You're not seeing it on any other news network. You're not seeing it or hearing it on any podcast. You're getting this through True News.
We seeing right now that we're getting very close. And one thing about it, a lot of people right now still, in the wrong type of mindset. We are at war. Right now we seeing these nations are coming together. And one thing about it, war is coming to America's shore, whether you believe it or not. It's already has begun. And one thing about it, at any given day. So now let's start today's lesson. Let's start here in Isaiah chapter 33. Isaiah chapter 33. We'll start up at verse 1. And it reads, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. So when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So that's what's getting ready to happen. So we know that America, has spoiled many nations, constantly setting up their democracy, their policies all across the world, the hammer of the whole earth. And one thing about it, we're seeing right now, these nations are coming together. What was done to them is getting ready to be done to America. America is getting ready to become a third world country overnight. And also, this place is getting ready to be destroyed with IBCM missiles. They're getting ready to burn the whore when you go to Revelation chapter 17. So now, let's get a little bit more on this. Let's go here to Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2, we'll start up at verse 5. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5 say, yea, also because he transgresses by wine. He is a proud man, neither keeper at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heap unto him all the people. So right now, you're seeing that America, got military bases set up all across the world. And one thing about it, and we're seeing that they have been doing this for years. They already off the coast of China. They already got bases pretty close to Russia. All these other countries. But one thing about it, they don't want no one sitting in their backyard. But what's happening now? The Lord is constantly turning the tables. We seeing right now that Esau is being made bare. We seeing right now shameful spirit is upon his glory. So one thing about it, that proud man is talking about the so-called white man. One thing about he enlarging his desire as hell and death, because one thing about it, every country that he goes into, you know what I'm saying, it's all sorts of what bloodshed, you know what I'm saying, killing, you know, robbing, stealing, and murder. Everywhere he go, robbing people of their resources, also setting up their what puppet government, they what democracy, their policy, you know what I'm saying, their unrighteous decrees. And one thing about these nations are mad. They have drunk the wine, you know what I'm saying, they have fornicated with the whore. Now they are what drunk and they're mad. And one thing about it now, they're seeing that America right now is weak. They're seeing that we have a weak leader and things are getting ready to escalate. We're seeing that things are coming upon us very, very quickly. And one thing about it, you know, that's why we got to always be watching. We got to redeem the time wisely, because right now things could kick off. China is in Belarus as we speak, in NATO's backyard. So we seeing all these big bold moves are being made. But one thing about it, what we got to remember is that America was always poking the bear, which in fact is Russia. So Russia is getting ready to make it happen. Russia is not playing. Putin is not playing. He's getting ready to push those buttons. You know what I'm saying? These IBCM missiles are getting ready to fly. So right now he got it to him all nations, and he was unto him all. So you know, we know that America is is a nation melting pot. We all got all sorts of different languages, different nations and tongues right here in America. But a lot of people come to America, you know, and get indoctrinated by this democracy. They policy that do thy will spirit, you know, that left hand energy. But one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to put an end to that. And a lot of these people are constantly seeing that America is finished, and seeing that America is getting ready to be totally destroyed. These nations hate America. And one thing about it, we seeing it right before our eyes, man. This place is getting ready to go. The hammer of the whole earth, constantly going into other people's nations, setting up these puppet leaders, you know, to do their bidding. But one thing about it, now, you know, they're not ignorant of Satan's devices now. They're seeing that Esau right now is being exposed on all levels. You know, they want the white man out of their country. They're done with the white man. They're done with the dollar. You know, they're done with all his policies and democracy. They're done with him. And one thing about it, you know, they're getting ready to come into this to the U.S. and burn it. You know what I'm saying? Through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Verse 6 says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his, how long? And to him that laded himself with thick clay. So we already know that America, I think, 33 trillion, 35 trillion, maybe more than that. We already know that they owe China trillions of dollars. So right now, China is buying up all sorts of land and farmland, all sorts of these food processing facilities. You know, is it by design or manufacturing? Yes, it is. So they know they're getting ready to bring forth this new fourth industrial revolution, which in fact is the new world order. We seen it happening right before our eyes. So right now, you know, he have robbed and spoiled. Now he's getting ready to be robbed and spoiled. We seen it happening right before our eyes. Verse 7 said, Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? So one thing about it, America is getting ready to be totally just decimated very soon. You know, the Lord said he would fill America with caterpillars, with many enemies. So we seeing it is lining up just like clockwork. This place is getting ready to be totally destroyed. We constantly warn you. Verse 8 said, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and the city, and all that dwell therein. So one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to repay. Recompense and judgment is upon Babylon the Great. The Lord said he has his eyes upon that sinful kingdom, because they have spoiled many nations. They're getting ready to be spoiled. And one thing about it, the Lord said, they know I will repay. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. So it's payday now, you know. So Esau, Edom kingdom is falling. And one thing about it, he's getting ready to go out with a blaze of glory because of men's blood. You know what I'm saying? We already know what happened back in slavery time. We already know what he did when he went into all these other countries. We know their history. His history is very bloody. Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, that's what Ezekiel chapter 35. So we seeing that we are very close to these times. So now, let's go here. Yeah, it's right at the door. Jeremiah chapter 50. Jeremiah chapter 50 and let's start about verse 21. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 21. And it reads that, go up against the land of Metraim, say, even against it and against the inhabitant of Pekod, say, waste and utterly destroy after them, says the Lord, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So when you go into that word Metraim, is go into double rebase. It's talking about America. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we see it right here in this place right here is very rebellious. And one thing about it, we knowing that, you know, that the Lord is getting ready to repay for all the blood that was shed, all the wrongdoing, all the treachery. The Lord is getting ready to repay. We're seeing it happening right before our, you know, the Lord's getting ready to waste this place, utterly destroy this place. Man, we cannot wait. So we're seeing that we're here, you know what I'm saying? Man, we're very close. Verse 22, it said that a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. Let's read this once again. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. So we're seeing that the war drums are beating. We're seeing rumors of wars are all over the place. You know, all sorts of events and calamities are happening around the world simultaneously. We're seeing that right now. All these nations are coming in alliance against America, Babylon the Great. Verse 23 said, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Who is the hammer of the whole earth? America. You know, is what the nation police constantly going in other people's nations, setting up these the military bases, you know, want total control. Also using their US dollar, you know what I'm saying, to constantly demonize and dumanize people. But the dumbness of the dollar is over. The end of the dollar is the end of America. So we see that right now. America has lost their grip on the world. It's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. We saying that these nations said now, he said, you know, they saying that they are strong. And also now he's saying that America is very weak. This place is crumbling. It is circling the drain. America is finished. Verse 24 said, so I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So the Lord's getting ready to destroy this place in 1 hour with that fervent heat, the indignation of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Those IBCM missiles, they're getting ready to fly. Verse 25, it said, the Lord has opened up his armory and has brought forth his weapon of his indignation, of righteous anger. For this is the work of the Lord power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts. Say, in the land of the Chaldeans, or in the land of America, or Babylon the Great. And one thing about it, man, we are so very close. You know, things could kick off at any given time. Get your house, get your mind right, get your house in order. You know what I'm saying? Let go of the martyr thoughts. Because one thing about it, man, it's getting ready to get real. It's getting ready to go down. Because all these, every time when you look, we see that, you know, they having military drills around the world. Everywhere you look, Russia and having military drills with Venezuela now. You know what I'm saying? Now we seeing that China's having military drills with Belarus and many others. You know, man, it's picking up, man. We're very excited. You know, down with Babylon the Great. Verse 26, to come against her and her from the utmost borders, open her storehouse, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing be left. So there will be no inhabitant left here. This place is going to be melted down to all the elements. You know what I'm saying? This place is getting ready to be a wasteland. You know what I'm saying? A great desert. You know what I'm saying? No inhabitant will be here. We constantly warn you, left and right. If you love it here, you're getting ready to die here. Slay all her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. Verse 26, the voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our power, the vengeance of his temple. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. We cannot wait. And also the Lord is getting ready to come, you know what I'm saying, that great fathership, from the east to the west. Boy, we live in this exciting time. Say, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Said, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her works, according to all that she has done. Do unto her, for she has been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So we seeing right now, they're bending the bow, and also they're camping against it round about. So we seeing it right now. A great multitude is kindled around America right as we speak. This place is getting ready to go. We constantly warning you left and right. A lot of our people right now are still what? Going on with their daily life, still in la la land, still what? Getting rocked back to sleep from the left hand side. In the middle of the Lord, we're constantly warning you, left and right. They're constantly what? Scoffing and mock. This ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. Well, guess what? It is happening just like the Bible said. The Lord's word is faithful and true. His word will not return to him void. We see that these Bible prophets are speaking loud and clear. At the end, it shall speak and not lie. Verse 30 said, therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, says the Lord. So we already know that anyone that are fighting this last and final war, which in fact is World War III, you're going to be unalive. We constantly warn you left, right. So it's the body count is getting ready to be great. That's why it says in Second Ezra chapter 6 said the women will be mourning because they won't have any helpers. You know what I'm saying? The husband is going to be totally unalive. So the body count is getting ready to be great. And one thing about it, the Lord said, I come not to bring peace, but a sword. Verse 31 said, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, says the Lord power of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. So the Lord is visiting the earth that he created right now. We see it. That's why all these things are happening around the world. All sorts of global event. We seeing what? Increased violence. We seeing what? More increased rumors of war, mischief here, mischief there, strange weather pattern. All sorts of things are happening. You know what I'm saying? Also, the Lord is what? Accelerating the time. You know what I'm saying? We seeing that we're here, man. It's so very close. So let's go here. Isaiah chapter 59, and we get one more, we'll close out. Isaiah chapter 59, we get this one here called the enemy is getting ready to come in like a flood. Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. And it reads as, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. So when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. So one thing about it, we know that when it's time trouble come, the Lord is getting ready to help us in ways that we do not know how. The archangel Michael is here ready to stand up for the children of Israel, the elect, the true believers of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, the house of David. So one thing about it, that we're not worried about anything. The Lord said, he will provide for us. He's getting ready to sustain us. And one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to come to deliver us with great glory and great power. So now, let's go to our last and final script. Let's go ahead to Revelations chapter 11. We close out here. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14. We'll close out here. And it reads, and one thing about it, we already know that the stage is set. They already know that they have these UN troops here right now, sleeper cells. Also, we know that, Russia is already getting in position to hit America. When they hit America, America will never get back or rise up ever again. This place is going to be televised. It's going to be a day that you have never seen before. This place is getting ready to go. We're constantly warning you left and right, whether you will hear or whether you will forbear. And one thing about it, we know that civil war is imminent. Also, World War III has begun, the beginning of sorrow. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14, I rambled enough. The second woe is past, talking about what? World War II, and woe goes into destruction. And behold, the third woe come quickly. That is what? World War III, the last and final war, right before what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we're seeing that the Lord is putting all the chess pieces together. We're seeing that the Lord is gathering the nation. Everything is lining up. And one thing about it that, we're seeing that we are here and we hoping that we're part of the hopeful elect. We knowing that we're in this transition of power. We're seeing that things are constantly picking up. And one thing about it, the Lord said, through much tribulation, ye shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Esau is the end of this earth, this temporal world. And Jacob is the beginning of it that's following, the eternal world. You know what I'm saying? The world that dwells in righteousness, the kingdom of heaven is fast to approach. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Wartime News. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom. Shalom.